Advanced cultures and politics in the Republic. Once you leave the temple on a mission, the variety and complexity of life outside Coruscant becomes inescapable. For reasons both biological and cultural, many species play specialized roles in interstellar relations. What follows is a partial list of those influential cultural players, but it's a good idea to dive in and interact with them firsthand. Duros are among the galaxy's oldest space travelers. Originating in the core worlds of Doro, they are in fact rarely found there. Instead, they dominate the ranks of for-hire pilots and the staffs of busy space stations. In my experience, a Duros always has a story to tell, but it helps if you buy a round of geyser ales first. The Biths of Clador 7 are mathematicians. They're also outstanding musicians, which to them is really just another way of saying the same thing. Biths perceive musical tones as easily as other species see colors, so don't miss a chance to take in a live performance. Hergliks have been in the business of interstellar trade for over 27,000 years. The Jedi Temple is one of the many Coruscant entities that employs Hergliks for the import and export of contracts. Humans dominate much of the politics here on Coruscant, but Corellians are a unique and memorable human breed. Brave, cocky, and charismatic, they consider themselves better pilots than any Duros could ever hope to be. Hire a Sulstan when you need a navigator or a guide. Because the species evolved inside the volcanic warrens of Sullust, it is nearly impossible for a Sulstan to get lost. Hutts, of course, rule Hutt space, the galaxy's largest political power other than the Republic now that the war with the Sith is over. Hutts are brilliant strategists who often think 5 moves ahead, so don't underestimate them. Bothans are in charge of Bothan space, a small enclave centered in Balwathwi in the Mid-Rim. Because the territory is politically neutral, it is a haven for spies from 1,000 different factions. Squibs are among the galaxy's greatest scavengers. Though they have a reputation as thieves, squibs shrewd the judges of value and can fix machines that appear hopelessly damaged. Squibs have got me out of more jams than can be expected, though the experiences did some damage to my credit line with the temple. Aliens resistant to Force abilities. My specialty in alien biology, and as a Jedi, I recognize that the fundamental unifier in all life is the Force. It is fascinating how the Force inspires such a variety of change and adaptation, even allowing species to develop barriers that redirect the Force's natural flow. Because such evolutions can be found among recognized sentient beings, you should be able to identify these species on sight if you use your Jedi abilities to the fullest. Hutts. You and your master will probably run into a Hutt's thug long before you meet an actual Hutt, but don't use mind tricks if you're brought before their boss. Hutts are notoriously difficult to influence or read through the Force. Their elusiveness has been a struggle for Jedi since our forebears left Tython. Toydarians. These fascinating beings have lighter than air gases in their bellies that enable flight in standard or less than standard gravities. But remember that Toydarians are resistant to mind tricks, illusions, and telepathic suggestion. They are well aware of this fact and boast that they can easily outsmart a Jedi. Do not haggle with a Toydarian vendor. Dashade. This species nearly vanished after the supernova destruction of their home world, but a few survivors remain, including Snar Extract, who works with Master Vanek as her sparring partner. Dashat have resistant to all direct applications of the Force, including telekinetic shoves and pulls, and cannot be sensed by a Jedi even when standing at arm's length. It is a tragedy that the Sith recruited so many Dashade as assassins during the last war and reduced their numbers even further. Yin Kori. These reptilians are immune to mental manipulation and cannot have their internal balance disrupted by advanced Force manipulation. Their warriors also wear Cortosis armor, so don't pick a fight. Bergna. Look, most rock-based creatures, this species from the moon Indubok can be particularly incommunicable since their microscopic structure are so different from midichlorian-infused organic cells. All Bergna share a communal mind and are resistant to every direct force application. Shidu. This species are shapeshifters. Don't underestimate them. Due to their fluid structures, getting a fix on a shapeshifter in the Force can feel like grabbing a fleek eel. The Shidu and the liquid metal Praxul are among the most dynamic species I've ever encountered in my research. Force-wielding animals. Why shouldn't animals use the Force? That was my thought when I first heard of the phenomenon as an initiate, before I started down the path that ultimately gave me the horrific of the Beastmaster. Since that time, I've seen plenty of evidence that the Force can be an advantage, just like spines or antlers. Central to any discussions are the Vornik and the Yalari of a classified world. Their abilities cause the Council to quarantine the entire system. Vorskers are quadrupedal predators that can sense the Force and can use that sense to home in on their prey. So because Jedi are strong in the Force, they appear as the biggest and tastiest meal a Vorkus has ever encountered. Beware the enemy that utilizes this ability to hunt Jedi. Though Vorkus are organic Jedi detectors, their Force abilities are negligible compared to those of the Simari, airborne lizards that create bubbles or voids in the Force that hide their energy from predators like Vorsters. Enough Simari clustered together can generate a large void to disable an army of Jedi from using the Force. Equally dangerous are the Tauzin, annelids that size of hover trains, found on the moons of Vart. The nodules on a Tauzin carapace interfere with the Jedi's sensibilities, making the Tauzin appear invisible to the Force. This also applies to those that carry Tauzin nodules. Also among dangerous predators that use the Force are night hunters, which have more in common with the Tauzin than the Varstiks. They can manipulate the Force to create a cloak of shadows around themselves. Because night hunters are sometimes used as guard beasts, it would be beneficial for you to learn to recognize their silhouettes. Other Force-sensitive animals are more benign. Bactori are aquatic parasites from the Nampraxic, but they can be found on many temperate ocean worlds. These creatures use the Force to enhance their senses to locate prey. They have also been known to use the Force to help heal their injuries.